again. I am proud to be here with USBC Hall of Famer and USBC Gold Coach Bill Spigner, not to mention a good friend and a great person. We're going to talk a little bit about grip pressure. You know, Bill, as I travel the country giving lessons and attending clinics, one of the main things I see out of bowlers is they put their hand in their bowling ball and they think they have to just hold on to it for dear life to get it down the lane, and that is not true.
No, it's not true, and it's one of the biggest things we want to teach in bowling initially is getting a free swing that's unimpeded on the way back and the way forward, and there's two critical areas in the swing that impedes a free swing, and that's what I like to call is re-gripping during the swing. And just for a little demonstration, you know, when you set up in your approach and you put your fingers in, your thumb in, you have an initial grip pressure, and we all want it to be fairly light, with a firm hand position so that the ball hangs onto the edges of your base of your thumb and your fingers without gripping the holes with the pads. And one of the key things is when somebody places the ball into the swing, if there's no grip pressure, the ball passes your body fairly fast and it gets into the swing in better time most of the time. However, somebody has to, if they have a light grip pressure in their stance and they place the ball out for the push away and drop it, and they have to re-grip it on the way down here against gravity to hang on to it so it don't fall off the hand, and impedes the length of the swing and the speed of the swing. And if you're lucky to get it through there and complete the swing, and then the re-gripping on the way down when it gets to here and has to go forward, if you have to re-grip here, it impedes the speed of the swing going through into the release zone, which slows your hand down and impedes the amount of revolutions you can put on the ball. So basically there's 2 points in the swing where you don't want to have to re-grip. And for most bowlers, they can't feel that, so they have to learn to feel the feelings of the swing and the re-gripping. So you start off with a certain grip pressure during the swing at the stance, and you want to not have to re-grip during the swing. And if the ball falls off your hand, then you have other problems.
One of the other things I see too is it's inconsistency. One of the, you know, you're gripping it here, like you said. By the time you get it back here, how can you throw it the same way twice?
Oh, you can't. You can't throw it the same way twice, and the ball comes off your hand different every time. And when you have to re-grip, the muscles from your fingers all the way up to your neck tighten up. So if the grip pressure is different every time, the right side of your body, the bowling side of the body, is different every time too. So again, it really affects the quality of the shot and consistency.
Well, let's work with Johnny K and see how we can change some of this grip pressure to make it more consistent and make us better bowlers.
Excellent. Good shot.
Thanks.
It looked like you had to try to hang on to the ball to release it on time, and you lost your release because you didn't have any revs on the ball normal to your normal release. What did you feel during the swing? Did you feel you had to re-grip the ball at any time?
I was losing it in the bottom of my swing, so I feel like I had to re-grip up so that I could,
to hang on to it to release on time. So when it was passing her, she had to re-grip it, so she has to slow down her action, and it impeded her release a lot, so she didn't get the revs and the release that she normally has. So I think we need to do something with the thumb hole to get some tape in there. So you had to re-grip it on the way back. Did you have to re-grip it up before you released it?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So those 2 points there, we don't want to have to re-grip during those points. So let's go ahead and tape up your ball.
Okay.
Okay, John K., we saw that you had trouble hanging onto the ball and you had to re-grip it during the swing. So we have to tape up your thumb hole. I notice you have no tape in there. You're using a solid insert in the thumb hole, an adjustable thumb grip where you can take out and put different sizes in there. But this is your smallest one, and it's a little big for you right now, and it's slipping off your thumb. So we want to tape up the thumb hole. But before we do that, there's 4 sides of the thumb that we want to tape. When we look at the thumb, if we put it up like this, the base of the thumb is thicker than the tip. So you have your thumb is tapered. And now if we look at the thickness from here to here by the knuckle and turn it this way, it's a little wider here to here. So your thumb is not only tapered, it's also ovaled a little bit at the knuckle part. So we need to put tape in more than one place. And a lot of times I see people put tape in one spot and keep tightening up the thumb hole only in one spot, and it gets over tight in one area and it's loose in another area. So we want to have equal thumb grip pressure all the way around. So the tape helps us do that. So what I like to do with a lot of people is I would have 4 different tapes, and there's 4 sides to tape the thumb. Okay, the order we start taping the thumb is the front first, and we want to get the tape started below the thick part of the thumb there, because you can see a big gap. If I took a line from the front side of the thumb and the back and put them together, one's like this and one's straight up and down. So we got to take up a little space here, so we have a little take up a little bit of that taper. Then the sizing of the thumb hole comes from the back, side 1 and side 2. So that's how we're going to tape up the thumb hole. So I have on this ball here 4 different sizes, and so every size doesn't have to be the same, but the size of the tape has to be right for your thumb. So if we look at your thumb here, and that's 1-inch tape, that tape would wrap around the sides of your thumb way too big. Get to here, 3/4 inch, which is just about right. It could be 1/8 of an inch less, but that would be okay. 1/2 inch for the sides, but that might be a little much, so we might go 3/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch for the sides. So we make the tape fit what we need in the thumb hole. So the first piece of tape we would put in would be on side 1, and we're going to do 3/4 tape, and that's the front side of your thumb. And what we want to do is put it down low enough in the hole that is below the thick part and below the bevel, because we want that bevel there. We have it there to take the pressure off the base of the thumb so it doesn't cut, but we definitely need to take some of that taper up. So before we even do that, we'll put your fingers in and your thumb halfway in, and we want to mark the back side of the thumb hole. So that's where the back is. Obviously just to the opposite is where the front is, and then we have the 2 sides. If you notice, the back is not in line with the finger holes. And a lot of times I see people put tape across the back and it's overlapping on the sides. So we want the tape at an angle, and yours looks like it's almost at a 45-degree angle. So the first piece of tape we would put in would be on the front side here, but below where the thick part of the thumb is, so we could take up some of that space down here, and that tape normally will never come out, and it gives you a little bit of texture. Remember, the thumb hole gets a little slick from the thumb smoothing out from wear, from oil from your skin and oil from the lanes. So we want to make sure we have texture in there so you don't have to grip the ball. So here we go. We're going to put this down about 3/8 of an inch. It's below the taper of the thumb, and it fits down right in there. All right, we put the tape in the front. Now we have to put one in the back. In the back side, we want to put it all the way up to the top of the bevel, because the thumb is straighter in the back, and we can layer it more in the back and have it a little higher. So we're creating a little less taper, but now we're starting to size the thumb. The third place we would put a piece of tape would be on the sides. And now a 1/2 inch might be a little bit much for you, so what I did was take a 1-inch piece of tape and just ripped off like 1/4 of an inch. And that way we put on side 1, which is on this side of the thumb, and that would tighten it up side to side a little bit. So now you're starting to tighten up the thumb hole all the way around the perimeter of the thumb hole, not just in one spot, so you get equal tightness all the way around the hole. And when you tighten it up only in one spot, you're tightening up front to back maybe all the way, and you don't have equal pressure all the way around, so you can still have the slippery area there, or you can have the thumb a little bit big in another spot. Then the fourth place we would put it would be on side 2, which is the last spot you'd put it in, because that's the exit side of the thumb. So when the ball comes out of the thumb hole, the exit side is here. That's where you get the most friction. This pushes against here, so you need a little friction here sometimes. And what this also does, if your thumb is shrunk a lot and you have to use a lot of tape, this will create some friction, and your thumb will swell faster, so you can take that piece out. So when you start taking tape out, you start with side 2 to take the tape out, which is your exit side of the thumb, then the other side, side 1, and then the back. You'll probably never get the side to the front. So what I always tell people, when they get a brand new ball drill, they should have 3 or 4 to 5 pieces of tape in there regardless when their hand is normal. So, and there is no perfect fit thumb hole, so you got to make sure you learn how to tape the ball, especially when you're a high skilled player. That little bit hurts you a lot. If you have to grip the ball during the swing sometime and you lose a shot because of it, you don't get that shot back. So you got to make sure every shot you get full count for it. So the best friend a bowler could have is learning how to tape up their thumb hole properly.